Thus, Bali Maharaja is understood to be one who received the highest perfection of devotional service by special mercy. So, we first see this verse, and if required, we'll go to the next. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyanjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminati Namni Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayani Gaurkata Damdaya Nagar Gram Tarni Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharni Nirvisesh Sunyavadi Paschat Deshtarni Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shretvaitakatatar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So, Bali Maharaja, this was the greatest test of his life. Um, so before he took the decision, even though his spiritual master, Shukracharya, that spiritual master, not Bali, his grandfather Prahlad Maharaj was his spiritual father, but the officiating family Kuluguru was Shukracharya. And Shukracharya advised him that you must not trust this Brahmana. He looks like Lord Vishnu and he will cheat you of all your wealth and don't give and all this. He was giving all materialistic advice. And I mean, it's very difficult when such a situation arises where you have to give up everything and you were cheated on top of that. I mean, no, he was not yet cheated. Uh, has he all? He's okay. Mm. Well, Maharaj, okay, because yes, the Lord has not asked for the steps yet, and yet it seems like, why? I mean, it seems very suspicious. Why does he want these three small steps? It wasn't like an ordinary request, and his Shukracharya was very suspicious, and he warned him that he looks like Vishnu and he is going to cheat you. He'll take away all your wealth, and it's a great decision. I mean, great choice. You have to become really all the Krishna consciousness that he had worked upon all these years. This was his final test, his final exam, so to speak. Of course, this is not his death, but still, this was the moment of his life when he was going to be tested about his real, conclusion about his devotion and faith in Krishna. And so not, and there was great temptation. There is opposite, the guru is warning him and telling him and threatening him, don't ever do this, because so he was afraid of his own position, and so he was advising him not to surrender to this Brahmana. And yet Bali Maharaja was contemplating all religious principles on which he was going to take this decision. And over and above his great qualification as the grandson of Maharaja Prahlada. So, uh, so he has just asked him for 3 steps. That's all. Yeah, he was replying to spiritual master. So, therefore, the said question, although it's a falsehood, it protects one completely. Lord, So we see how in earlier times people always contemplated a lot before taking a decision. It was not simply, just either, not an impulsive one or not an emotional one, or, I mean, any decision was not taken in a, you know, in a moment. They contemplated over it, took their time, and had strong reasons, especially from Sadhu Shastra and Guru, before they took a decision. I mean, that is the ones who are really surrendered, wise, like, and we see many examples in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Even when they are addressing the Lord, why I'm surrendering to the Lord, that also they will have so many reasons. Because you're the supreme person, because you've created the material world, because you're prevalent everywhere, and you're the cause of all causes, and so many things. And then say, that is why I'm surrendering to you. Everything is done because of a reason, and mainly because Srimad Bhagavatam um, gives us the correct way in which we have to think how devotees, everything is considered in relationship to the Supreme Lord before we take any decision. We should not do due to either, local sentiment or due to people's pressure or opinion, or just to look good and avoid looking bad. Nothing. None of these things. We normally make such calculations. What will people say? What will four people say? That is a normal thing. We take decisions based on that, or some family member pressurizes us, or some such thing, or we are afraid to take a bold decision, so many things. But here we see such a great decision he had to make because he could lose everything. This is his guru warning him. But he is saying, in a very well thought out reply, first of all, I'm the grandson of Maharaja Prahlad, was so righteous and upright and kept his word. Then they never withdrew any promise because of greed for money. And I've already said that I shall give the land. How can I behave like an ordinary cheater, especially towards a Brahmana? So, how could he act? That is what he was born in, and it's all the more creditworthy because he was born in an Asura family. And Asura, as we know, is the opposite of devotee. Every consideration is based on personal greed, sense gratification, self before others, and a kind of a dominating mentality. And there's no question of words. I mean, keeping up word and all that. They don't believe in all that. The classic example is Kamsa. Kamsa, he was saying he was showing so much affection to his sister Devaki and brother-in-law Vasudeva, driving in their chariot after their marriage. And he was acting so affectionate. He wanted to show the whole world that, see how affectionate I am to my sister, though cousin. But so that, all his subjects also will have a very good opinion of him. And whether Devatas thought that, oh, we will expose you, what your great, noble nature is. And so they announced on the sky, hey, Kamsa, the sister that you're so affectionately taking, she will deliver a son who's going to kill you. Eighth son will kill you. And immediately his whole attitude changed towards his sister. He found her a threat to his life, and then immediately he didn't hesitate to kill her. Vasudeva tried to stop him. She's a woman. And on top of that, your sister, she is helpless. Why do you kill it? So Shastras prohibit such thing. It is totally, not correct and all that. Vasudeva tried to explain to him, but all those things didn't mean anything to Kamsa. She is threat to me and finished. I'm going to kill her. Well, better to kill the source instead of wait for the child and then kill him. If especially if it's predicted that he's going to be a source of my death. So this is demonic thing. They don't consider words and all that. And in today's world, we see that. that nobody bothers anymore about truth and lies and all that. We don't know which is truth, which is lies. Anything which is suitable, that's okay. And people don't think twice about talking white lies, or rather, which are not so, which is not going to really harm anyone. Then those things you can tell lies. This is their own philosophy. But we see here anything, the word is considered so important that if you, whatever has come out of your mouth, you cannot retrace it, even by accident. Like in the case of Kunti Marani, she didn't know what the Pandavas had brought, and she just said, you know, just as normal, she said that whatever you have brought, you share it amongst yourselves. She didn't know what she was meaning. But the words which had come out of her mouth could not, because she was a pure devotee and she would never, no words of inconsequence would come out of her mouth. So they took it so seriously, and after consulting Krishna, they married, all of them married her. So that is how important the words are. We see in the Bhagavatam time and again, truth is considered so very important, powerful. He had already promised him that he was giving all Brahmanas anything they asked for. And he told Vishnu that, I mean, the Brahmana, Vamanadev, that please ask me any for any land and I will give it to you. And he just asked for 3 steps of land. So that is actually very suspicious, is it not? And he told him, why do you ask for such a small place? I can give you an entire planet if you want. I'm the ruler of this entire universe. Please ask me something worthy. And Vamana Dev said, no, this much is enough just to perform yajnas I need. So it is very suspicious. Why would a small Brahmana, I mean, why would a Brahmana come to an emperor to require, to ask for 3 steps of land that anyway he will get wherever he goes? He doesn't have to go to an emperor to ask for that. So definitely it was very suspicious. And Bali Maharaja also, he could have, I mean, he also might have been suspicious because it looked suspicious, but he thought that in case it was Vishnu who was trying to cheat me, then I'm ready to be cheated because it's the Supreme Lord. See his faith and commitment to the Lord, even if the Lord comes to cheat him. And it seemed that he was favoring the Devas over him. He had not done any mistake. He had taken rightfully the kingdom through defeating the Devatas, not through deception. He went there, he attacked them, and he took their kingdom through righteous means. And here, the Devatas did not come to fight with and take back their land, but they have sent their messenger, Krishna, to deceive him and take back his land by deception and give it back to them. So he already, I mean, if Vishnu comes, that's what Shukracharya also, Vishnu is always supporting only the Devatas. And definitely he is come to take back all the land. So don't be, give him anything. And so Bali Maharaja also might have suspected that. But he thought, all the time I'm trying to please Vishnu. I'm surrendering to Vishnu and doing devotional service to Vishnu. Then what is the meaning of surrender? Surrender means in any cost, whatever you say, I will listen to you. So that was the test. That is why he's considered that topmost in devotional service, Atma Nivedanam, against all orders. There was no, I mean, we would never, if we were challenged like that, then what we would think, oh, why is Krishna? How can he be partial like this? How can he? And then we would be sitting, we'd be completely lost. We'll go off track thinking of why all this is happening and cry to Krishna, how can you cheat me? Whatever. And see his mind control, sense control, detachment. He was ready to lose the entire kingdom for Vishnu, even though he was the one who fought for the Asuras. He was not actually interested in kingdom or anything. He was a pure devotee of a grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. And yet, he was acting as a ruler of the Asuras. And the Asuras, they wanted to avenge how Indra treated Virochana, his father. So his father, Virochana, was also a great devotee of Vishnu. And he had made um, a rule in his kingdom that, only Vishnu should be worshipped, no one else, and so on. And he had made some impositions and all that. So, and then what happened? He was also getting very powerful, and Indra Dev was getting scared. So he actually attacked Virochana and so on. He tried to, I think he was captured and taken to Swargaloka. So in this way, he had been, unjustly, I think, killed also. He was taken. He fought very valiantly, but he was taken through deception. I think Indra took him to this to Swargaloka and he killed him there. And as a this thing, revenge of that, revenge to this, Bali Maharaja had gone there to avenge, and then anyway, because of he made a truce with them and came back. He was not interested. But Shukracharya and all the asuras goaded him to take revenge on his father's death. And so he attacked Swargaloka and took. So everything he did was, even though he was an asura, he did not do anything whimsically just because he was an asura and he had to think of the asura's interests. He played as an asura in an asura's role as a king for their interests of attacking uh, the devas and so on. But even in that procedure, he always followed dharma. So he was very exalted in all ways. Though actually, one may think, why did the Lord then favor the devas? Why did he agree to go on behalf of the devas and try to deceive Bali Maharaja? He is also a devotee. So why did the Lord do that? That is because actually the Svargaloka belongs to the Devatas. It is Asuras are supposed to live in only the Patala Lokas, but they are not satisfied with that. And they are step brothers. Both the Devatas and Asuras are, they have a common father, Kashyapa Muni. And but mothers are sis, uh, are sisters who are co-wives of Kashyapa Muni. That is Diti and Aditi. Kashyapa Muni had many wives, I think 13 or 17, I'm not sure. And in among that, Diti and Aditi. Aditi gave birth to all devatas, and Diti gave birth to all asuras. So naturally, there'll be a lot of rivalry among them. And so they always felt that why they should have the Swargaloka, which is so beautiful and where, it's so bright and the sun reaches there and they have positions of power, authority, and everybody worships them and yajnas and so on. Whereas where are they? They are underneath Patala Loka. They're not at all considered even as anything. And their sun doesn't even reach there and is always like dark, only little bit light coming from the light of the gems from the Nagaluka. All the serpents, they have some money on their gems on their hoods. And from those gems, whatever light comes up, that is all. Just imagine how it must be. Have the kind of that sort of an atmosphere will have an effect on your mind. So they have a very negative mindset, and also because they are asuras, they are always in the mode of passion and ignorance, always fighting amongst one another, among brothers. So it's a horrible place, Patala Loka. And so they are very envious of the devatas, and they have the favor of all the devata. Of the supreme Lord and all the higher devata like Shiva and Brahma are also. They have the best of everything, and in contrast, they feel that they don't have anything. Though even Patal Loka, there is all the Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Patala. All those places are very, very beautiful. It is called Bila Swarga. That is, Swarga is just like Swarga, but Swarga in the Netherlands, in the down Patal Luka. So, comfort wise, they also have everything, but still, it's not so glorious like the Swargaluka. So, because Bali Maharaja had captured the land originally meant for Devatas, and only they are qualified to govern this universe. Devatas and the Asuras don't have those qualifications. They are in the modes of passion and ignorance, and they're just allowed to live out their karmas there, and they are always eager for more powers, and so they do tapasya and then harass the whole universe. That's what they keep doing. So when they have such a mentality, how can they be trusted to rule from Sargaluka? So that is why the Lord did not want. And even though Bali Maharaja had done so many sacrifices and was eligible to be an Indra, but because of these disqualifications belonging to the Asuras and all that, Asura, I mean, Bali Maharaja becoming emperor means not only he, but all the Asura clan will come along with them. And how can they govern this universe? So that is the reason Vamanadev sent him back to Patal Loka by uh, putting his foot on his head and pushing him down. Now, Bali Maharaja, how much, I mean, he didn't know all the reasons why Vishnu was deceiving him, but yet we can see his surrender. Whatever Vishnu does will be perfect. He had no doubt about it. And he also had his personal relationship with him, by which he knew this is the Lord of my life. He's my personal. I mean, he's the one. Everyone has got this most dearmost person whom they can completely trust. Only the Paramatma knows. He's cognizant of everything about us, and he is the best well-wisher of us. So everybody has got access to the Paramatma, and he's equal to all. He's also favors Bali Maharaja. How? Because later, after Bali was pushed and everything, and that time the Lord was telling Bali Maharaja that in your next life, when you come, that time you can become an Indra. But now, as the king of Indras, you cannot be, I mean, king of Asuras, you cannot be an Indra. So he also compensated him. And he also, in this life, also, he compensated him by saying that I will personally come and act as a security for you. I'll be the guard guarding your. See, here for Arjuna, only during the war he acted as a chariot driver. But for Bali Maharaja, he said, I'll be there for your entire lifespan. I will be um, security guard guarding you. And so that means every day he can see the Lord, but he must have felt, what is this? My Lord is doing this seva. But that is his ecstasy of so much love. We can understand how much he loved Bali Maharaj that he was ready to become as a guard. And Prahlad Maharaja was also living at that time, or is still living. So then, he loves Prahlad and all his descendants. He gave, and the Lord also, he gave a word, during Narsimadev Bhagwan, when actually Prahlad Maharaj, when the Lord asked him, please ask me any boon that you may want. And Prahlad Maharaj said, my Lord, I'm praying to you not for anything in return. I don't want anything in return. We are not doing business, are we? I'm eternally your servant and eternally my master. I don't want to take anything from you for devotional service. So the Lord said, no, no, but you should ask something. So then Prahlad Maharaj said that, okay, please bless my father, that he's been such a horrible demon. He's done all kinds of things, but please give him a chance. Please liberate him. Anyway, he was liberated because the Lord killed him. But still, Prahlad Maharaj wanted, mercy upon his father. And at that time, Narsimadev said, not only your father, but all your, previous. forefathers, as well as, I mean, for 7 generations, and all the people who are going to, I mean, both mothers and fathers' side, plus all that they are going to appear in your line. So that is why 21 generation, I mean, 7 into 3, because fathers and mothers from the previous and your successive generations, 7 generations, I will protect. Everybody will be under me. You don't have to worry about them. So because he had promised Prahlad like that, then, the son of Bali Maharaja was who is going to be, what's his name? Bhanasur. He became an Asura. That's what the 3 generations of devotees, pure devotees. And then they got Banasur. He was not, I mean, he was partially like, he was very devoted to Lord Shiva. And he thought there's no difference. Vishnu, Shiva, he didn't know. He thought I am attracted to Shiva because he was not so purified in goodness. So he didn't take shelter of Vishnu. Instead, he did a lot of tapasya and pleased Shiva for boons. And Lord Shiva blessed him with 1,000 hands, 1,000 strong hands. Sahasra Bahu was called Bhanasur. So, and he was as usual harassing this whole universe. And it was predicted that Vishnu, I mean, Krishna will come, appear, and he only will cut his hands, chop off his hands. And in the war that happened, actually, Banasur had also a vow from Shiva that whenever he was attacked by any enemy, Shiva would always come to his rescue and, I mean, fight for him, protect him in all ways. So, because of this promise, and Shiva, of course, because he pleased him with his austerities, so Shiva said, "Okay, I'll always support you. Water in, I'll be on your side with whoever may challenge you. If you call me, I will come there and fight for you." Now, what happened was that the Yadus and Banasur, Asuras, they were always fighting. But naturally, the Yadus, because they are Asuras, and naturally they must have, uh, on some reason or the other, they were always fighting. They were completely at loggerheads, both the families. And Banasura's daughter Usha, we know the famous story of how she fell in love with Anirudh, the grandson of Krishna. And Usha, she had a dream of Anirudh. She didn't know who it was, but she fell in love with him. And she didn't know who it was. And then, but she had a close friend, closest a friend, who's this daughter of the prime minister of the kingdom of his father. And she had a divine. She could, draw anybody or anything. I mean, if you just describe, she could, um, bring out that person's face. And she also knew so many people in the universe. So Usha was describing how he looked, and her friend, she got it out in the paper in the form of a painting, and then she also recognized, oh, this is Krishna's grandson Anirudh. Now, how to reach to him, because the whole families were at war all the time. And how could she have any chance of meeting him? It's not possible. Normal, under there was no social intercourse. So what they did, they just and she had a mystic power like yogis of transferring herself to any place she wanted. So she just went there to the Lord's palace. She went to Aniruddha's bedroom. She lifted his cot and just flew back with the cot in the night. It must have happened very instantaneously, not long time flying like an airplane, long distance. No. She must have just mystically gone there, taken the bed, and arrived again in Banasur's palace, in Usha's palace. And of course, Aniruddha was bewildered when we who got up and all that. Then, okay, so when Banasura came to know that, he was very angry, and he was going to, I mean, he fought with Anirudh and all. He didn't want them. He locked them up separately in the jail, his daughter as well as Anirudh. And when Balrama came to know that, he was very angry. And so Krishna also came there. First, he came, he did not come attacking. He said, first, we'll give him a chance. After all, they wanted, I mean, Anirudh and Usha wanted to marry. Then they were ready to accept Usha and they wanted peace. But this one, Banasur, was so arrogant and he said, no, you take back Anirudh. I will not have this thing. So Krishna gave an ultimatum. Either you get them married and we join, the two families can come together. This is the very peaceful method of solving all the problems. I think we should tell the Iranians and Trump, some American boy and or vice versa, boy and girl, get married and finished, all war stopped. So something like that. Um, so they so then there was a war, and at that time Banasur was against fighting against Krishna and Balaram, and he was scared actually. So he called Shiva to come and support him. And so Shiva was fighting with Krishna. Then, of course, Shiva, through some this thing, Krishna sent some weapon by which Shiva became invisible. So he went out of the war, and it was Krishna against Banasur. And Krishna cut off all his 1,000 arms, and he could have taken his life also. But then he remembered, or maybe Balrama told him, oh, anyway, because he had promised his devotee Prahlada that he will protect all his descendants. He could not kill his descendant. And that's why he abstained from killing him and gave him his life back. I mean, he didn't kill him, he only took away his 1,000 arms, which was the cause for all his false ego. But that didn't stop. I mean, okay, he was humbled. And for some time, he became humble, but not for very long because he's an Asura. So even without the 1,000 arms, he started harassing the universe. That is later. But we see how at every instance the Lord gives great value to the word, that he doesn't go against that. And here also, uh, and we also in quality, because all devotees they are equal in quality to Krishna, though not in quantity. So the same principles that Krishna acts, similarly, pure devotees also act in that. And that is why Bali Maharaja, what great decisions he had to make all by himself. Very difficult decisions. And it seemed much against himself, against his well-being. It looked like he was committing suicide by surrendering like that everything to the Lord. But he had complete trust. Atma Nivedanam, that is complete trust in the Lord. Whatever you do, my Lord, must be for a very good cause and purpose. And that is why he's considered one of the Mahajanas, and we follow in his footsteps. But how he is the highest example, role model for us, that at all times we don't suspect the Lord. We don't have, we don't lose faith in the Lord. Even we see that it seems like, the Lord is favoring some other people, even someone who made all mistakes, who did all cheating, and they're not good people, and yet they are prospering. And then here we're doing devotional service and so many problems. And then there are others to tell us. So, what is the use of devotional service? You've done so many devotional services, and you're always suffering, and Krishna has done nothing for you, and so on. And and here Prabhupada is also saying how he got the Kripa Siddhi. How did he get this wisdom to think so wonderfully? And because he'd been blessed by his grandfather, Prahlada Maharaj. And that is why he was a pure devotee, although born in a family of demons. So he's saying he was not sadhana siddha, but kripa siddha. He got the kripa he didn't do any penance, nothing. just because he was a grandson of Prahlad Maharaj and because of his blessings, he was attracted towards the Lord. And so sadhana siddha means one who has become a devotee by regular execution of the regulative principles mentioned in the Shastras, as ordered and directed by the spiritual master. So that is what most of us, almost 99.99%, all are sadhana siddhas. There may be some special case, rare case who get kripa siddhi just by, just the blessings of the spiritual master and Krishna. They advance in spiritual masters, spiritual life. So we can always keep praying for kripa siddhi. Please give me soon. And anytime anything can happen, the Lord can uh, do anything. So we are always hoping that the Lord will shorten our path to getting pure devotional service. And here he's saying that how did he get this? And he got it immediately. Who may not have because of the mercy of the spiritual master and the supreme personality of Godhead, have immediately attained the perfection of pure devotional service. Examples of such devotees are the Yajna Patnis. So the Yajna Patnis, yeah, when Krishna wanted, very naturally, it just came out from their hearts. It was all the mercy of the Lord. Krishna and Balrama, they were sporting with their friends and just went near the Yagnik Brahmanas' homes, and all the cowherd boys and all were feeling hungry. Krishna and Balrama also, so they sent some cowherd men go and ask the Yagnik Brahmanas for some prasadam. Say that Krishna and Balrama are hungry, and they said, no, 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 we will not. Right now, the yagna is not over. We cannot give now. At the end of the yagna, we can give. But so when they went back and informed this to Krishna, and Krishna said, okay, go and ask their wives. And those wives were not sitting all together, or so, I don't know whether they were all in their, I don't know, it's not mentioned that they consulted each other or something, but they went and asked the wives, and they eagerly gave out all the bhoga, which had not been offered to Krishna. But so what? Krishna himself is asking. So they had somehow the faith in God, the faith that Krishna was God, or they were, I know, Vrajavasis. So they were special in that sense. And somehow they had the faith. So that is also, how did they, they were following their husbands only, and their husbands were regular karma kandis. So they were also karma kandis in that sense, but somehow they developed devotion to Krishna. And so they were also in that category. Maharaja Bali and Sukadeva Goswami, he didn't undergo any kind of reformatory, purificatory, this thing. As soon as he was born, he just left. For 12 years, he stayed in his mother's womb. And then somehow Krishna persuaded him to come out. Don't worry, you will not fall into Maya. I am there. Then he came out, and then just like that, he just left and went. And father was saying, please wait, I want to do all the purificatory this thing for you, samskaras and all that. Nothing he did. He just went away. And he was already liberated. Of course, Sukadeva Goswami is actually Sukha, who is the parrot of Radharani. So he's very special. But for by what we can see here, he didn't seem to have done any tapasya or anything. He just became a devotee. So, um, so Yagnik Brahmanas, although they were very learned and advanced in Vedic knowledge, they could not achieve the mercy of Krishna Balrama. They failed the test. When Krishna Balrama came and asked for Bhoga before they finished the Yajnas, it was a test for them. And they failed the test because they're not advanced enough. And so they denied. And the wives, they achieved complete perfection in devotional service despite their being women. Why? Because as women, they were not being educated in spiritual life. They just followed their husbands. And yet, they could understand. So this was their special mercy, blessings of Krishna, that they got the enlightenment from within. What you should do. Similarly, Virochani Bali Maharaja received the mercy of Prahlad Maharaja, and Prahlad Maharaja's mercy, he also received the mercy of Lord Vishnu, who appeared before him as a brahmachari beggar. Thus, he became a Kripa Siddha because of the special mercy of both Guru and Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Latha Beach. So we are also blessed. We've also got the Kripa. I mean, it's very rare. How many people in this world have the mercy of a Guru who's given them the seed of devotional service by the mercy of Krishna? How many people have got devotional service? So, I mean, compared to the number of people in this world. So, that is also a great Kripa. Guru Krishna Prasadi Paya Bhakti Lata Bija, the seed of devotional service, and we have to water it and cultivate it. Bali Maharaja, by the grace of Prahlad Maharaja, got the seed of devotional service, and when that seed developed, he achieved the ultimate fruit of that service, namely love of Godhead. Prema Pumarto Mahan, immediately upon the appearance of Lord Vamana Deva. So we should always look forward to that day when we have the opportunity to face our examination. The Lord will definitely take an exam before he takes us or reveals himself to us, and that is a test of our love for him. And so every day we have to have our own snap tests. We should test ourselves. Am I doing it out of love for Krishna or anything, or I love something else more? At every, I mean, we have to, in our heart, become more true about serving the Lord sincerely for his pleasure and not for my own sense pleasure. This is our test. I mean, this is voluntarily we are undergoing this because we want to love Krishna. Because with Krishna, the whole entire relationship is based on love. Krishna is just love, right? I mean, his dealings are all, everything is filled with love. That is what is Krishna. And unless we get love for him, we're not going back to Goloka Vrindavana. There is no mood in Vrajabhumi. Everyone is got spontaneous love for Krishna. So that is why to get love for Krishna is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, where he has hastened it. Okay, by worshipping him, he has said that I've come here, I've given you this Bhakti Vriksha. He says in the ninth chapter, Adi Lila, he says that I've grown a tree, Bhakti Vriksha, seed, the in the or the tree of Bhakti. I've grown a garden, I mean, this tree, and I'm the gardener also of this tree. And I am the tree. I am the tree of devotion, and I'm also its gardener. And what is the fruit of the tree? Krishna Prema. And I want you all to come and taste the Krishna Prema and also give it to others. So he is giving Kripa Siddhi to all of us. It is not easy. I mean, Bhagavatam, do we hear of anybody getting love like this? Everybody getting love, or everybody being offered all this? No, everyone has to do a lot of tapasya, and very few get to see the Lord or develop that kind of devotion for him. Very rare. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful that he wants to give everybody. If no need, even if you're not qualified and all, no problem. You've never done any austerity in your life, and you've even been a criminal, no problem. Just come and beg. So he's ready to give Kripa Siddhi to us, but we doubt. Really? Will I get Kripa Siddhi? And we are very attached to this material world. And we don't have faith in that love being the truth, absolute truth. Krishna means absolute truth, right? That is how he's described in the very first verse of the Bhagavatam. Janmadi asya yataha itaras. So that the definition of the absolute truth is given in the very first verse of the Bhagavatam. And it starts with that. And it describes in all the 9 chapters about what is this absolute truth. And finally, 10th canto, we see the actually Krishna's pastimes. So, so the uh, so unless we so this, I mean this Krishna is the absolute truth. We have to have more faith in this, that he is the truth and not what I'm seeing in this material world. But in our material consciousness, we seem to think this is the reality, and Krishna is some hazy truth somewhere far away, far removed from my life. What I see before me is what is the truth for me. But that is simply, that's what in that verse, the very first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's mentioned that by whose powers all this material, this manifest universe looks real, even to great devatas and rishis. Even he puts even them into illusion. So that is the absolute truth, who has created this illusory world, and it seems as if that is the reality and the truth. But actually, it is not. It is simply one manifestation, temporary manifestation, and it can change anytime. And we keep changing our bodies. Nothing is real here, permanent. And yet, in our madness, we accept this as the truth, and we lose faith in the Supreme Lord. If Bali Maharaja had, that's what he said, for the sake of greed of wealth, how can I behave like an ordinary cheater, especially towards a Brahmana? For the sake of the, and he didn't have a small property or anything, he had the whole universe under him, and he was not worried about it. See how detached he was. And he had complete faith in the absolute truth. And he thought nothing of this manifest world, even though it was the whole universe. Just see how difficult it was to make that decision. Whole universe was his. It's not just small, some properties. Entire this universe was his, and he was not attached to it for the sake of truth. Truth was more important than all this. He knew that this was illusion. Only because of that, he passed that test. So that is why we have to be completely convinced that Krishna is the absolute truth. I'm dealing with that. And I have to be attached to us achieving him, that truth. Then we can take always the right decisions. Always, even when it's very difficult, there'll be many tests. Until we pass the test, how we can go back to Godhead? I mean, there the people are all different consciousness. And a failure like here, we are all in total darkness. And how can we hope to go there unless we pass the test? And then we can, you know, we can be like one of them. So definitely there'll be a lot of tests, and that those tests we can pass when we are, because after all, Krishna is always helping us. He's only giving the tests, and he's also the person who's leaking out the answers to us. But we do want to listen to him. There may be a test, and Paramatma is telling from within the heart, no, do like this. Don't be afraid. But we don't, we doubt. No, no, no. We listen to the outside world, for whom we can see with our eyes and what they say. And that we believe more. So that is why devotional service has to be cultivated. And when Bali Maharaja was mature in his devotion, that is when he gave him the final test. So Krishna is also very kind. He doesn't test us prematurely. As much as we are prepared for, that much only. But unless you are prepared well, you cannot write any exam, a small class test or snap test or anything. Any test for we have to face, we have to be prepared for it. So that is why our devotional service is constantly elevating us, and Krishna is constantly giving us tests so that we evolve in our consciousness, we evolve in our devotion, and finally, when we are mature when we completely see things as they are, pure devotion, pure goodness, we can see everything clearly as they are. What is the Supreme Lord? What is this material world? Who am I? What's my relationship with the Lord? All that becomes very, very clear. Then he gives them a final test, and then we have to clear that, and then that's it. Of course, it doesn't mean death always. Like Bali Maharaja didn't die after that. He was still alive, and he was in the, I mean, he's still alive, and he's also going to come in another Manvantara, I think. He'll come as an and become an Indra and all that. He's not fully, he's going to be living here, and yet he's fully liberated because he's a pure devotee. And all because he um, was surrendered. He got the kripa and the strength to perform pure devotional service. Okay, thank you very much, Hari Krishna. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Madhavat Pranam to you. Shubh ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Nice to see you, and thank you so much for explaining, about Bali Maharaj. And it's so nice that, he's coming in a lineage. So, his grandfather was Prahlad Maharaj, who was so dear to Lord Narsimhadev that because of that, he's
Mm,
getting mercy. And
mm,
how sometimes, we, like, I mean, he's asking for 3 steps. And, it's clearly showing that Lord is basically telling him that, like, let me take the 3 steps, in the sense that, it's devotional service is so important. It's like a direct message to us. Like, I don't know how it's connected, but it's basically, he knew that he's such a person who will give to the brahmanas. you know so I
mm,
think that's why Krishna approached him as Vamana Dev, that, like, okay, you fulfill your desire also, and then, you maintain your vows and of being a brahmana as a charitable person. So how Krishna is always, helping like that. And I think it's also mentioned in the thing that, one line I was reading, that, although they were ladies, the kripa was given. I don't know why that is mentioned.
No, no,
I joined a
I
little
mentioned
late.
about that. That
Yeah,
why it's mentioned like that, because ladies are not educated in spiritual life. They were not, and that
yeah,
is why they were not expected to be very advanced in spiritual. They didn't educate them. They just made them good and qualified in household thing, and you just serve your husband, and through that, by serving, and then 50% of his spiritual advancement you will get. They're so that is why it's mentioned. But if you see in Bhagavad Gita, what does Krishna says? Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudras Tepi Yanti Param Gatim. Even women, Vaishyas and Shudras. And these are the people in Kali Yuga. Where are the. And in the next verse, he says, then what to speak of exalted Brahmanas and Kshatriyas? Have, being very qualified, they will definitely, they are much more elevated, and they'll definitely get the complete perfection. So now, if you see in this, I heard this from a lecture from my guru, and he was saying that this is what Prabhupada also said, that in the verse, it's mentioned Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudras. So, among in the uh, Varnashrama category, women are somewhere in the middle. Okay, they did not perform such great austerities, and they were not educated in Shastras, or they were like that, like the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. But they are, first they are mentioned, they're better than Vaishyas and Shudras, which is what most of the people are in today's world. So, women are also qualified. And when Vaishyas and Shudras can also be delivered, why not women? Why not? It is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Sriyo Vaishyas Tata Shudras Tepiyanti Param Gatim. Even they can get the highest this thing. Because normally they are not given any spiritual this thing, though anybody can become. There are examples of women who have been very advanced in spiritual life, but very rare, because most of the women were just married off, and that's it. They were not given so much education. Spiritual knowledge was not given to them. That is why it's mentioned, even though a woman, because a woman is not expected to be spiritually advanced. And we find, but it was not true also. We see in Kapila Dev, Karadama Muni and Devahuti. Karadama Muni did not think his wife to be inferior or something. He said, he was very obliged to her for her sacrifice and helping him, supporting him in his um, devotional service in the beginning after her marriage. And also, she became very, her body was so emaciated and everything. And so he said, "You asked me for a boon." And he said that I can give you the topmost realization of pure devotional service. You can ask whatever you want, but I can give you this. He said that because he could give that to his wife and he wanted to give. But she said that, yes, I know you can give and I want it also, but first I want to have children, because it's the ambition of every wife to have someone, an expansion of the a very exalted husband like that. So she opted first for um, children. And then after that, when he said, after giving the children, he was about to leave, and he said that, but you never, even I was so foolish, I didn't take any spiritual knowledge from you. So he said that, don't worry, you will get a son, Kapila Dev. The Lord himself will appear as the son and give you Sankhya philosophy. And see, imagine, the Lord came to teach everyone Sankhya philosophy, and he gave that first knowledge to his mother, then only to the rest of the world. So women were not considered that they are unqualified or uh, incapable of understanding spiritual knowledge. Why? The Lord himself is educating his mother, first person, to get that knowledge. So this is not true. I don't know why they, it's being mentioned sometimes, but there are, and now in today's world, we can see that when women have given, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu especially purposely took Hare Krishna mantra from the Puranas so that everybody could chant that mantra and not say, oh, Vedic mantra. Someone should, a low caste shouldn't chant or women shouldn't chant. So anybody can chant. And when you give the opportunity, they're also souls, right? Everybody is a soul. So why women are not souls or what? Their bodies only, permanently, they are going to be bodies. Why? They also can understand they're not the body and the soul. If a Shudra or a Mlecha or a, what you call Chandala, who dog eater can become a Tepi. He can also be Shuddhanti Prabhavishnave. It says you, even he can be purified, like it's mentioned, like a bell metal coming in touch with a mercury, it becomes gold. So similarly, even a Chandala can be raised to the platform of a Brahmana or a pure devotee through this process of devotional service. So then why not women? Why? Are they always perpetually only the bodies? Why? It doesn't make any sense. So, but anyway, this is just in passing that normally women are not considered, they are not expected to be spiritually this thing. And so, even though, they didn't do anything, they were not doing any tapasyas, they were not educated in all the shastras, and still they had that understanding. Is that
Yes,
okay?
Mataji. Thank you so much. And I really like the aspect mentioned at the beginning of the purport, where it says that I'm just paraphrasing that although we are not connected to Bali Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, but Srila Prabhupada has come into our life through his books, and somehow we followed regulative principles, and we got connected to Krishna, and like we were able to understand how we were only thinking of loving ourselves, but we are thinking that now we can love Krishna, do devotion to Krishna, but only through Srila Prabhupada's mercy and our Guru Maharaj. Otherwise, we wouldn't
Mm.
have also known, and we wouldn't be sitting here in the class or doing any of the things. And
Yes.
so we are so thankful to Srila Prabhupada that, like he gave us this, this opportunity, grand opportunity. Otherwise, see, like normally Bali Maharaj is getting the opportunity because, Prahlad Maharaj is there. But in our life, it's like, We see that our father, grandfather, none of them are devotees, and following or whatever. I mean, yeah, grandparents and all might have been vegetarian, but sometimes parents are not vegetarian, spouse is not even vegetarian.
Mm.
And there are so many other conditions we see. But at least as an individual, in whatever condition we are in, through
Mm.
Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we can follow, make some prasadam for ourselves and, do our things and stay under the, association of devotees. So it's
Yes.
very wonderful. These verses are so positive of Srimad Bhagavatam that time and again it reminds us how we have to every day get up in the morning and first have gratitude towards Srila Prabhupada. Because Srila Prabhupada is the one who saw our Guru Maharaj, and then through Guru Maharaj we got the, initiation and other things. But it was only Prabhupada who's actually this causeless mercy, has come on us. So, and all of us, like, of course, not, Thank you so much, Mataji, for today's class and the verse. And you explained so many other points, which, hopefully I can remember. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for wonderfully explaining these verses, and especially this last point that Rupini Padma Mataji um, brought up about women. And Mataji, would it be okay to understand that as per Vedic scriptures like Vedas, women are like supposed to be serving their husbands and like they are just uh, bereft of being spiritually elevated. But as per bhakti, if because Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, these are like Vedantas, right? Like juice or nectar squeezed from Vedas. These are higher principles. So as per these higher principles, no, like we are not uh, um, what I should say, we are not discriminated based on the bodies, the outer covering that we are wearing. We are all souls, and Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita are at that platform where none of the souls are identified with their bodies, and that is why Prabhupada was so merciful to let us like reveal this to all of us and give us this opportunity to. Would it be okay to Mataji understand it this way?
Yes, because see, why women were not asked to do those difficult processes, Jnana Marg, yoga, Dhyana Marg, and all that requires a lot of physical austerities and also a lot of education, study, and all that. Whereas a woman was, she naturally had to take care of the children, the family, and all that. So she was not a burden with all that because those things require a lot of time spent on a lot of austerities and all that. But
Exactly.
bhakti is something everybody can do, and a woman can especially do that. It comes more naturally for her because she's by nature much more humble and surrendered. I mean, generally, because women are more religious, though normally they restrict themselves to just karma kanda, but they can also bhakti, a devotional service, even if it is initially only the ritualistic thing. But the feelings and all that, it can be drawn out of their hearts because they're ready to surrender. I mean, they're ready to surrender to the Supreme Lord because the ahankar is more among men because they are expected to do more of these things. So then they become a little proud that I've got so much knowledge, or I'm so austere, or I'm so powerful, and all those things. So bhakti comes very naturally for a woman. So, especially in the bhakti process, women can easily get perfection by surrendering to the Lord, chanting holy names. Everybody can chant. Everybody can chant, and everybody can cry to the Lord and get his mercy and get all perfection. So Prabhupada said that he said all women in ISKCON can do same things as whatever the men can do. He said that there are many places, and he allowed also. He made women pujaris, and he made them go and do book distribution outside, preach to people, even if they were mothers and all that. They had household duties. In as far as varnashrama is concerned, then women are supposed to take care of the home and the men are supposed to go outside and get, I mean, that is the normal varnashrama system. So she naturally was serving the husband and taking care of the children and taking care of the house. That is material duty. But
Right.
spiritually, it doesn't mean that she will be inferior only always to men in spiritual understanding. No, it doesn't say. And that's why Krishna showed in the past time that the yagnik Brahmanis were more advanced than their husbands. And the husbands themselves were very humbled, and they were, they acknowledged that we thought, we didn't know our women, our wives were so advanced. Without
Right.
doing anything, they got bhakti. So soul is same. And bhakti comes very naturally for women.
Yeah, because for Krishna, and like Prabhupada always mentions, like for Krishna, we are all souls. He doesn't
Of
discriminate
course.
between a plant, animal, tree. Especially when we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant, and animals, plant, everyone would be part of that celebration. So there was no
Yes.
discrimination based on body. Mataji, I have one more question. Just it is little off track from this discussion, but it is actually about devas and asuras. We are talking about devas and asuras in this chapter, and we've been talking about it for some time. So Mataji, when we look at horoscope, um,
Mm,
in Maharashtra especially, I'm from Maharashtra, so each individual is defined as Manushyagan, Devagan, Rakshasagan.
mm.
Each one is, what is that category? Is it based on our internal nature? Does that define our more dominant nature? Not like fully one is a manush, like a manusha or a
No,
deva
no,
or.
it's not a eternal nature. It is just that
Mhm.
through karma, what is
Uh-huh.
the in this life, what is our predominant inclination?
Ah,
So someone who is a deva will be more inclined towards spiritual activities, more God, towards God realization and all that. And
mm,
those who are Rakshasa, Manushya, and Devata.
yeah.
So the Devata, the ones who have Devata, I mean, there are also nakshatras. Different
Right.
nakshatras are prone to different qualities. So it depends on your nakshatra also. Certain nakshatras categorize you as having predominantly Rakshasa guna or Deva guna or Manushya. Manushya is in between, more
Mm.
human. So like that, yes, we have that.
Yeah, because astrology is like really what I should say is it's very potent and it's real. Like we can relate with it,
Mm.
and yeah, it helps us with just for margadarshan guidance. Thank you so much, Mataji. Dandavat pranam, and I really appreciate all your answers and patiently for responding to me. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Geeta. Thank you
Ah,
for
yes,
this wonderful class, Mataji.
thank you.
Mataji, I wanted to ask you the difference between Kripa Siddhya and Nitya Siddha.
Nitya Siddha is someone always, they've never fallen down at all. Those who are there is one group of people who never fall down. They are always in Krishna consciousness. And among those who have fallen down, then they have to do sadhana, and then only they become siddhas once again. So that is sadhana siddhi. And nitya siddhas don't, no comparison, because they are nitya, eternally liberated. Then we can either be sadhana siddhas or kripa siddha. There, I mean, we don't seem to have done too much of sadhanas, but somehow by some mercy. But nothing is unjustified. Okay, though it seems like that. Why Shukadeva Goswami got the special mercy? Why Bali Maharaj and all that? They must have done something previously because of which nothing. Krishna is always impartial. So somehow they've deserved that Kripa Siddhi. Maybe they did it, they are qualified in other ways through previous things. So, but anyway, but anybody can get Kripa Siddhi, even we are very, very fallen by some, you know, by some mercy, some like Prabhupada gave so many people Kripa Siddhi. That's what Prabhupada is explaining here. We get Bhakti Lata Beach. That all of us have got by Guru Krishna Prasade Paya, Bhakti Lata Beach. So we've got the seed of devotional service. That is very great. Once you have the seed, then it will definitely fructify, it will definitely grow into a tree and produce all the fruits. It will happen. So we have to be a little patient. But we are also Kripa Siddhas in that sense. Not that we deserve it and so we got it. We got it a causeless mercy, isn't it? So we've got Kripa also.
Yes, Mat. So Kripa Siddhas are who can sometimes fall down and come back, but Nitya Siddha never
Ah,
fall down. That's what it is.
yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, Mataji. And another question, Mataji, is that, in our day-to-day life, when we come across some, decision making, when we have to do some viveka, we don't, how does one realize that this is coming from Krishna, so let me do it? Or, you know, like you would say, perhaps that everything is coming from Krishna, but sometimes it is like the Lord wants it, so I should do it. How will that feeling come?
When your mind is controlled and peaceful, and you can very peacefully contemplate and pray and think of all. See, Bali Maharaja was not at all hassled. He was very peacefully. I mean, it was a big thing, big decision. Anybody else would have been put into great, what do you call, confusion and disarray. But he was fully peaceful and he was considering why he should do this. So when you can think so clearly and when you're surrendered like that, only when you're surrendered to Krishna, and that time you can see that your mind is under control. You're not agitated. You're not confused. Then you will be getting you can hear Krishna. You will know that this is, Krishna's inspiration. We can understand Krishna's inspiration only when we are calm and surrendered, peaceful and detached. If we are attached and we are disturbed, then mind only will be telling us whatever it is. But we can consult Sadhu Shastra, Guru Shastra also, and Guru and Vaishnavas. And in this way, we can take decisions. And we can confirm, because when any idea we get, when we are very agitated, we should not trust that, because that is coming from our mind. We should wait. That's why we should chant and settle ourselves, settle our mind, be calm and think about Krishna and be understand, like our relationship and why I want to do whatever is pleasing to Guru and Krishna, whatever is correct. That kind of, when we have that strength of mind, then we will be guided by Krishna. But if we are showing some attachment to some particular thing and we are disturbed, then naturally we will not hear Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Beautiful answer. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Okay.
Also, Mataji, for the previous discussion with Prema Nandini Mataji, I was just
Mm,
thinking that how we, like we have to leave our homes, go to the husband homes, we got to renounce our own parents, and then, we go to a husband place, and then we give birth to a child, and then,
mm.
our nights are gone, sleepless nights. So, what all Matajis go through, and I think Prabhupada has such a wonderful realization. That's why he says that more ladies, chances are they become, all these things humble us down literally, because we are going from one environment to another environment, and then the child is born, then we forget about our happiness. And if a child calls us, then, even if we are in whatever distress, we don't even care what's going on. Just like the gopis, they were just willing to, I'm not comparing gopis, but I'm comparing gopis' bhav to the mothers. When Krishna had a headache, we all know how they were ready to give everything. Similarly with us as mothers, when there's any issue, and if we're having a health problem, that problem, we forget everything. We are pondering over the child's, trying to solve the problem, trying to see that the child is okay, trying to help in different ways. So I'm just thinking that all this we have to go through. And Srila Prabhupada realized that. And that's why he came to this wonderful conclusion, because that the Matajis are more religious and less ego. And, his family, his wife and his daughter especially, must be so fortunate to have him as a father and a husband, because, he has so much of compassion. He understands what Matajis go through, and he has had that very clear cut understanding that they become religious, I think, because of all that we go through. Am I right, Mataji? This understanding that um, you know I'm just trying to speculate why we become like that and men are not like that, but maybe Prabhupada has a
No,
different
there is
thinking.
feminine
Yeah.
and masculine natures, and women have been given the feminine nature. And see, we are men also, and we are women also in different life. It's not permanently that we are women. We were men in previous lives. We will be I mean, hopefully not in future lives, because hopefully we'll go back to Godhead. So we
Sorry,
have
Mataji,
taken on this.
Mataji, can you repeat what you said in the beginning? I got a ring and I had to go to the door. You were saying something in the beginning. I wanted to hear the answer. I
No,
missed a
nobody
few
is.
words. Okay.
Yeah, there is feminine nature and masculine nature.
Yes, yes.
And apart from that, everybody is, the soul has both feminine and masculine natures. We can be both, this as well as that. Okay, in
Okay.
the spiritual world, we can take both, this thing.
Hmm.
And the soul
Hmm.
is very balanced like that. So it is not that eternally we are women or something, or eternally somebody is a man.
Hmm.
Now, we are supposed to get both those natures. And
Hmm.
because we tend to have less, that is why a man and a woman get married to complete each other, because a man feels incomplete without the feminine nature, and a woman feels incomplete without a masculine nature. So they complement each other, and that's why they get married. And um, so your question was about feminine nature. Huh. So because we are naturally inclined towards the seva and all that, yes, definitely we have to serve the husband. See, the greatest test of false ego is when you have to be under one person. If you are at least under, it's impersonal. You are working in an organization, okay, you're working for many bosses or something like that. But then here, permanently under one person, you have to work. How much you have to control your senses, everything. And it requires much more sacrifice. So, yes, the marriage is actually a training ground for the woman to progress in spiritual life. That is why that is considered, the marriage itself is a tapasya. You don't have to do a separate tapasya. As you said, leaving the parents' home, where she is the like a princess. I mean, in her home, she is considered, everything is, like, she gets all the, I mean, I mean, she's really, what catered to with so much. She's like a apple of the eye of her parents and everything, and then she has to leave that whole family and come to her husband's family, where she has to work like a servant. I mean, service
Yes,
mode, not a
Mataji. So difficult, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So that is a tapasya. Don't think marriage is some. People tend to think for a woman, marriage is her this thing for luxury or comfort or security and all. Yes, it may all be that, but actually it is a training ground for her spiritual advancement, because everything is for men also, but for them it is facing this external world and all that. But for a woman, her world is her family. I mean, at least it was like that so far. Basically, that
Hmm.
is according to the Varnashrama system. Woman is supposed to be like a home person, and so in that itself, there is so much of sacrifice. All her husband's people only. She has to be with total strangers, and she
Hmm.
has to serve everyone, whether she likes them or not. She has to. serve them. She has to see them all equally as her husband's relatives and be nice. And then she has to also get along with her husband and serve him. And she has to adjust with his temperament, all these things. And children also require a lot of sacrifice. So, this is the woman's tapasya. And if a woman is successful in doing everything in the right mood, she gets great powers, spiritual powers, just by being in the, just like Anasuya and Vasishta's wife, Arundhati, they're all considered
Mm.
exalted souls. Why? They didn't do any tapasya. They were just very chaste women. They were obedient, and they were, taking care of their families. They were taking care of their children and all that in the right mood, in a surrendered mood. And so they got great spiritual powers on their own also, apart from serving their husbands and getting their spiritual strength because of doing their duties properly, irrespective of what their husbands gave them, they also got because they did their duties perfectly. So it is a tapasya. And this is the tapasya for a woman to also spiritually advance. That is why we should do both. Spiritually, now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this age has given us spiritual facility also, so that a woman can also chant and do all these things, all the devotional activities, and advance by her own strength. And also by doing her material activities, it will be very fast. It helps one to get liberated. All the work is meant for spiritual progress. That's what in the Bhagavatam it is said.
Mm.
Occupational duties should be only performed for the sake of self realization. It should not be performed for the sake of sense gratification. So, for a woman, you like your children, but that is also another test. You get attached to them as your own and you feel possessive, or you're doing it as a duty and you are ready to give them, and not be attached. Do your duty and have all affection, but have no expectations and all that. So, that is also a kind of, you have to go through all that and become detached also. So it is not simply for sense gratification. Woman also has to, unless she advances like that, she cannot be happy. Then the son will get married and then the wife comes. Unless one is advanced, one will think of that daughter in law as a rival. But one should detach oneself and see as a, not consider her as a rival, but as a daughter. And okay, one has to think of one's own spiritual life after that, Vanaprastha.
Yes.
So all these things are there.
Excuse me, Mataji. I just wanted to, since Rupini Mataji brought up this topic, you also mentioned a couple of minutes ago that women have to serve their husbands and do the housework, and that's their duty. But and they will, perhaps get liberation if they do it well. But what if the husband is not a good human being? Serving a wrong person, and then how will it work?
See, as long as he's not breaking regulative principles very badly, like, something uh, very, not doing great sinful activities, and you can live with him. It may be that he is not a devotee and he is very materialistic. It could be all that. But the minimum that a wife gets, if she even serves such a husband as heavenly planets, she did her duty. But if she's also doing spiritual activities on her own strength, like Bhakti Yoga now we are doing, then you can go back to Godhead also. Apart from this, service helps you to purify your consciousness, become detached, and then at least you'll go to the heavenly planets if you have material desires, or it will help you to become detached.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So, Mataji, in
Right.
this connection, we also say, right, like if you just mentioned one line in the middle, I don't know whether you were saying that if the husband is a devotee, then you get the credit, the wife gets the credit. If the husband is
50%.
devotee, 50%
Yes.
the wife will get if the husband is a devotee. Now let's
Yes.
reverse, Mataji. If the wife okay, both ways I wanted to find out. Like for example, if I'm practicing and my husband is not practicing, then I'm not getting the 50%. What about the other way around when the you change the gender? Like for example, the
See,
husband is
actually,
following, husband is following,
yeah.
not following, and the wife is
Mm.
following. Then what happens?
So in bhakti, that is, see, according to Shastric thing, it is not that a woman does is good and all that, but the husband is bad, then automatically 50% doesn't go to him. But in bhakti, it is different because he is supporting you, he is helping you in so many ways for your devotional service, right? I mean, in so many
Yes,
ways that
yes,
he
yes.
is just giving you, just your having a shelter itself is support. No, that is so that he will definitely benefit, and your prayers for him, and always the husband also benefits in bhakti through the wife, because many times the wives take initiation before their husbands. But I've seen Guru Maharaj tell all couples, whether it's husband taking or wife taking, the other one is not taking, he'll always say, come, both of you come and sit near the in the yajna, when the fire sacrifice, and when they're getting the beads also, he makes the couple sit together because it is shared. They get the blessings. And we see many times the husbands also become advanced more after the wife takes initiation. That's why we tell the wives, don't wait for your husband and all. Let him also advance, then I will take with him. Don't. If you take first, he will also advance faster. So that is there. Yeah, definitely. Husbands also, by the prayers and by our association, and because they're also supporting in so many ways, so they will get the benefit.
Thank you so much for sharing this because, I remember when I took my initiation, my husband was saying that, I don't know whether I have to be a part of ceremony or not because he always follow, he's following, he was raised in Sikhism and I was raised in like a Hindu, so I said, it'll be nice if you're there. And then he attended and he told me it was so wonderful, the ceremony, that all the time the Guru Maharaj is looking at me only. And I was thinking, really? So I said, he got blessings from Guru Maharaj and he was there in the
Um,
ceremony. And in fact, he was so lucky because I was just able to bow down and take the beads. He was able to go and grasp Maharaj's hand. He was able to hug Maharaj. He was able to, as a male body. So I was so
mm,
happy that, he was able to do all that with Maharaj. And I think it's very, very important because I know some Matajis say, no, my husband is not ready. So we will wait. And then both of us are at level, then we will take. But this is not what this is. I don't think also it's right. What Guru Maharaj says is right. Maybe it is right in some other way. But Guru Maharaj is like, you have your own, you're flying your own plane, like Prabhupada said. And you just
yes,
continue. I
and
mean,
also the
yeah,
husband will benefit. Husband will also
yes.
benefit by the wife, and that's why Guru Maharaj has got such deep this thing. He even has something called bhakti homes. He classifies homes. I mean, he is giving different names to them according to what level they are. Like if in a house there is even one person who's favorable to devotional service and the rest are not, that is all. That is, they are given one title like Bhakti Home or something. So that means he is not just, I mean, he gives individuals their chance to advance. At the same time, he's also seeing that families also grow together. It may be slow, but in Bhakti, especially, Krishna, just like he blessed Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj, he's considering the family. So Krishna is like that, very kind. He blesses the whole family, even if there's only one devotee in that family. All the members get blessings because of that one devotee. Not just one family. If it's a pure devotee, then all the people 3 miles from the place of his birth, all will be liberated like that. We call Sri Pat, no, the birthplaces of great acharyas and all that. So Krishna always considers the whole family. So that's why a devotee always prays for his entire family. And that is Krishna gives mercy. How Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, his son-in-law Amogha, he was an atheist first, though a Brahmana, but he was an atheist. And he actually offended Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya just disowned him and sent him out of the house. He was living with his father-in-law. And he was just perishing somewhere. He had cholera because, shelter, somewhere he was languishing. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came to know that, he went there and he put his hand on Amoga's chest and said, Amoga, why you're like this? You're born as in a nice Brahmana family. You're following everything. Why you're against God? And so he gave him faith and Krishna Prem, all because he was Sarvabhauma's son-in-law. Even though Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was so vexed with him, he disowned him and threw him out. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave his mercy and brought him back. So Krishna considers the whole family.
Very nice. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much for sharing that. Like sometimes we hear that so many generation benefit, but when you tell stories like this, they are like actually, Lord gets impressed, just like he was impressed with Bali Maharaj in the verse today because of Prahlad Maharaj, one devotee, that the so many generations are, benefiting, and Lord is this thing. So it's very important, and also like Prabhupada, I was remembering that he gave mercy to his wife, whose husband, or not the wife, sorry, his sister, Pashima, right? Pishima,
Mm.
am I saying it right? And he was breaking all regulations. So he simply said, "You serve him," and so like Mataji was asking if the husband is not right, doing wrong. He was actually doing everything wrong. So and he was like
And he changed.
womanizing. Yeah,
He
he
changed.
changed. Yeah,
Yes.
by her devotion and through the blessings of the brother-in-law, Srila Prabhupada.
Mm.
And the like the brother sister.
Guru.
Because of them, he changed. Yeah,
Mm.
that's true. And he took
And
initiation too.
Guru was Bhakti. Yeah, Guru Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Bhakti is very powerful. Only thing is we have to do it seriously and make sure that we
Mm.
we give it to our relatives and everybody also in a very kind way. If they're not taking, then maybe next life or whatever life. But
That's what, no. If you just pray for them, Krishna will take
yes.
care of them.
Hmm.
That's what you can bless. And somehow Bali Maharaja was blessed. Sorry. Yeah, Bali Maharaja happened to be a devotee, so it was fine. But Banasur, he was an Asura. And even he was blessed by Krishna because he belonged to Prahlad. He didn't kill him. And he allowed him. I don't know whether what happened, how he died finally. I don't know. I have to check. But he removed his ankar and he did not want to kill him. And ultimately, he would have been liberated because he is in Prahlad's, descendant.
Very nice,
So that
Mataji.
is for descendants, for families also. That is how we can feel very hopeful, even when they're not following anything, maybe breaking regulative principles, all that. Still, bhakti is very powerful, and we just keep praying. One day or the other, they will come to devotional service. You give
Yes,
them
Mataji.
prasadam. Yeah.
Today I was just I share as a preaching way I'm not able to do book distribution, so I was sharing one quote from our god sister Nitai Sevini Mataji, who says, "Preach always through your behavior, speak only when necessary." When I was hearing this from her, this is expert from Srimad Bhagavatam, and when I was hearing that, I was thinking this is such an important, powerful one line of Srimad Bhagavatam. Preach always through your behavior, have a good behavior, speak only when necessary, otherwise do not speak, also conserve your energy. So it was we have to be very 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 particular when we are in family, where especially when there are not devotee, everybody is not devotee. So we have to be very careful, and our behavior we have to watch, what we speak we have to watch. It's kind of important, but yes, in spite of like I think I had read somewhere, the husband not being devotee, whatever it is, the point is if the wife is serving the husband will change over time and the wife will benefit. It doesn't matter, because there's always a saying that husband doesn't have a good look, वो हिंदी में they say ना लूला लंगड़ा, जैसे भी husband है, जैसे भी आपके husband हैं, आपके हस्बैंड उनको सर्व करना है आपने, and then you get your credit as a wife. And rest, of course, with time, husband will also soften. After all, how long can a husband have a wood hard heart? It will eventually, change with the wife association. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah,
Thank you,
and
Mataji.
when he gets his knocks on the head, then he will come. He'll remember. When he gets, when he
Yeah.
faces troubles, no, then he becomes humble also.
That's with normal human beings, Mataji, also. I've seen people who have so much egoism, then they get some disease, and then they humble. And then again, when disease is okay, then again they become like, mode of passion, ignorance kicks in. So that's why all these things are going on, because but if people can realize they do bhakti and just give love to Krishna, then they'll be out of these three modes and they can only stick to Krishna only, without keeping changing their nature, from, I mean, why do they have to fall sick to get humble? They can be humble just by loving Krishna. But it doesn't happen, Mataji.
Maya is very strong. Yes.
Yes, Mataji. So nice to have your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam Granth Raj ki jai. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Anand Koti Vaishnava ki jai.
Jai.
Jai. Hare
Prema Padmini
Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jai.
Mataji. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Beautiful
Krishna,
class.
Mataji.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Please share the recording. Thank you. Hari Bol.